Hey guys, on behalf of S.A.E, it's a pleasure to welcome you back to our lifestyle blog. Today it's a beautiful day and it's a perfect day to show you around town. So hope you enjoy the video.
And yeah, today we will show you the Royal Road, the so-called Royal Road, starting at this fantastic spot over here, the Cathedral of Mallorca, the landmark of the city center, the magic and Gothic building from the 12th century, actually one of the tallest Gothic buildings ever. And yeah, we are going to take you through this magic road. Just come with us.
Alright, so just behind us is the palace known as La Almudena, which is one of the official residences of the royal family. It's where the king would have come to throw his suitcases and leave his stuff before he heads out.
Yeah, and basically there's a lot of history according to this building. Back in the days, in the 13th century, it was rebuilt by King James II of Mallorca. But actually already before, there's a long history when the palace was called Sudar, so-called Sudar. It is a building that is called Alcanzar. This is a Spanish name for a fortified palace and actually also one of the fortresses you can find here in Palma. A magic place, and together with the cathedral, by night it turns into a golden glowing fortress. Yeah, so maybe you're lucky, and once entering the building, that today is also a museum, you are able to see the royal family.
Yeah, and if you're planning to do a heist into there anytime soon, don't get your hopes up because it's properly fortressed. So here we are, starting the royal tour. This is where the king would have parked his boat after a long trip from mainland. The water here that you see was connected with the same level as the sea before. Now in the last few years they closed it off, but before this was connected with the sea through an archway through the wall here where the king would have sailed through and left his boat here.
And it's a quite unique place. As you can see, the combination of Gothic style, yeah, like an oasis within the city center. Just great. We have magical corridors over here. It could also be a film spot. Please write us in the comments if you already know a movie that has been recorded over here. And now we are going to take you to the royal gardens, which are just next door. Okay, so now we are here inside the royal garden, the so-called S.A.E the royal garden. And yeah, to give you a little bit more information about the history. So basically this was a part of the La Almudena, the royal palace, where the kings used to have their palm trees, their cypress trees, their laurel trees, and olive trees, and also orange trees, and also to grow all their plants for their personal use. But in the 19th century it has been changed into this open place where Toby can tell you a little bit more about.
Yeah, so they've really opened this up to the public. The doors are completely open all year round. In summer it's a really nice spot to lay low and have a chill session because you have this running water which keeps the surrounding area quite cool even when it's very hot outside. And it's always with shadow all around, and it's a really nice spot to come because you're right next to Borne, a well-known area in Palma, beautiful Gothic style oasis, and it's really recommendable to come here.
Absolutely, a place of peace, and you also find a lot of Moorish characters that is pretty interesting.
So an important fact, behind us we have different insignias. Each one represents a different king that was king of Mallorca at a certain point. And the interesting fact, the last king of Mallorca was 14 when he saw his father die on the battlefield, and he would have been the 4th king of Mallorca if King Aragon hadn't imprisoned him on Mallorca. And that's, I think, a little interesting fact about the island and the royal family line.
Absolutely. Yeah, so continuing on our royal road, behind us you can see the ancient building, the Palau March building, which is a municipal palace, today turned into a museum as well as a cafe, very recommendable cafe. And to inform you a little bit more about the museum, it is a very, very historical place, the Joan March Museum, where you have a lot of contemporary art, sculptures from a lot of history, a lot of centuries. And yeah, it is only worth to visit this museum to get up to the roof terrace where you can see the whole city center, and it is as well a place of peace within the busy city center.
Yeah, definitely. One of the top 10 spots to go in Palma.
Absolutely. And what do you say about the cappuccino, Toby?
Oh, it's a great place. I mean, just these giant arches that you can sit under and sip on your coffee, with amazing service, 5-star service and food.
Absolutely recommendable. We take you now to the King's Road, to the Royal Street. Come with us.
Yeah, so as you can see behind us, this tower at the top, they used to have this stick in the middle of the tower, and they would hang the heads of the most wanted people. So people who would walk down here would see the decapitated head of a criminal and probably want to not do the crime that he committed.
Definitely not.
Okay, so just continuing on this this path where the king would have passed through, and still does now to this day. So this is another spot worth mentioning. This is the area where the wealthy and the rich and the famous people used to live back in the day, and you can really see it by the style of the buildings. Everything is very well handcrafted with stone, with different types of stone from mainland even, but different areas of the island, and a very high standard of quality looking around here, and all in this Gothic beautiful style.
Absolutely, it's more than pleasant. And yeah, now we are almost heading to the end of the Royal Road, where we will show you another highlight, the last highlight for today. And yeah, just come with us to the so-called Plaza Court. Yeah, almost entering the so-called Plaza Court. You can see here's a lot of life, even though we are at the beginning of the year. And important to mention, to my right we have the Mallorcan Pearl Art Store, Mallorca store, where you can get the best pearls. So for all the husbands, if you want to make your wife happy, please feel free to enter this store to buy the pearls and yeah, to make your wife smile.
Yeah, I mean, this is a beautiful spot in town. This square, known as Court, is the square in front of the town hall of Palma, and the wooden roof overhang, as an interesting fact, is the biggest overhang in the whole of the Balearics. So it's an architectural design statement, and the insignias of the creators of it are actually engraved into the stone, and it's hard to spot. So if you come here, write in the comments if you've spotted it, because it's a little sign, a little small animal engraved into the stone in the entrance of the town hall.
Yeah, so coming to the last highlight of our Royal Road, we are standing in front of one of the oldest olive trees you can find here on Mallorca. A lot of centuries. We would like to ask you to guess and write in the comments from what century or from what age is this olive tree, the so-called Court olive tree. And yeah, if you would like to cheat, you can also come here and read it on the small sign there. But feel free to leave us a comment, and we very appreciate to read your guessings.
Yep. Yeah, so Plaza Court and the surrounding area of town was probably one of the first areas that started modernizing a long time ago, when the big cities like London, New York, Barcelona started getting in connection more and more. The technology was spreading and growing more and more, and you can really see at the build quality and the style of the houses that this was one of the most modern areas back in those times.
Yeah, and as you can see, even though there's a lot of tradition and history, it also gets an international place with a lot of international amenities. For example, here we have the Starbucks coffee, here we have the renowned Hotel Cappuccino, where it's also very nice to take a coffee. And further on, passing this street, the Carrer Colom, which is basically the second famous street of Mallorca, you will have a lot of jewelry stores, fashion stores, boutiques, whatever. And this is what we are going to show you in the next lifestyle vlog.
Yeah, so we really hope you enjoyed the video. Please feel free to leave a comment or an idea for the next video we're going to make. We'd love to hear it. And we hope we brought you some entertaining footage and gave you an idea of what Palma's all about.
That's it. Hope to see you guys soon.
Yep, see you.